Welcome to Stories of Life with John, Super Ted, and Truzo.
Hey friends, glad to be back. It's been a whole week, but I'm really looking forward to telling you this next story. You know where I am? After being cooped up for so long, I thought I'd get into the sunshine and some fresh air to boot. We're out on the front veranda. You might remember this place from last week. There are my friends again, Super Ted and Truzo. You remember where they were last week? Yes, trying to escape self-isolation by climbing over the veranda rail. But I've brought them out a few more times over the last few days, and they've got very comfortable being at home so long as they could get out in the sunshine and the fresh air every now and then. Let me tell you this story this week. It's called Cornelia's Jewels. Cornelia. She lived more than 100 years before Jesus was born. Cornelia had two fine sons. The name of the older boy was Tiberius Gracchus, and the younger boy's name was Caius Gracchus. Their father was one of the leading men in Rome. Sadly, when the boys were quite young, their father died. The father's death was a terrible blow to Cornelia, but she was brave as well as beautiful and cultured. In those days, the noble ladies of Rome wore beautiful dresses and expensive jewels. Cornelia was not such a rich woman as many of the ladies that she knew, but she was a very sensible woman. She willingly went without jewels and expensive clothes. She would rather spend her money to educate her sons. She made up her mind that her sons should have the best education. Cornelia had many friends, and she enjoyed having friends visit her. Even kings often sat at her table. She was a charming hostess, and her friends were happy to come to her house and be her guests. Cornelia never talked about her sorrows or how hard it was to raise her sons without her husband's help. Her wonderful cheerfulness and gentle courtesy made her greatly loved by everyone. One bright morning, a lady friend came to visit Cornelia. She was beautifully dressed. She wore lovely pearls and flashing diamonds. Cornelia, on the other hand, was simply dressed in a plain white robe. No ring or necklaces glittered on her fingers or about her neck. Instead of flashing jewels in her hair, her long, soft hair was gathered up in brown braids that were like a crown on her head. She took her friend for a walk among the flowers and the trees in the beautiful garden. Cornelia's sons, Tiberius and Caius, were standing in the vine-covered summer house. They were looking at their mother and the friend. "Isn't mother's friend a beautiful lady?" said Caius to Tiberius. "She looks like a queen." "She is not half as beautiful as our mother," replied Tiberius, who was 9 years older than his little brother. "She has a fine dress, all right, but her face is not so noble and kind as our mother's." "No, it is our mother that looks like the queen." "You're right," answered the younger brother. "No woman in Rome looks as much as a queen as does our mother." Soon Cornelia came down the garden path to speak to her boys. She looked into her sons' proud eyes, and with a loving smile, "Boys," she said to them, "I have something to tell you." They bowed before her as though she was a queen. Well, that was what Roman boys were always taught to do, to be very respectful and to bow before their mothers. "What is it, Mother?" they asked. "When you come home from school today, you are to dine with us here in the garden." Again, they bowed as politely as though she was the monarch of the empire. Then they left the garden and went to school. Now, while they were gone, Cornelia's friend opened a wonderful little box of jewels that she had brought. She wanted to show them to Cornelia, and so carefully, one by one, she picked up the first jewel and then the next jewel. "What's that? What's that, Trousseau? You've got something you want to show us? You want to show the kids?" "Oh, Trousseau has a platter of jewels." "Ooh, let's see what there is here, Trousseau." "There are pearls? Pearls and rings. Oh, and diamond necklaces. Oh, how beautiful. And gold. My goodness me. Where did you get such jewels?" Well, these were the jewels very much like Cornelia's friend had to show her. Beautiful colours. You know, she told Cornelia all about their great value. Of course, she had diamonds, and there were pearls, and there were rubies, and many other kinds of gems, and gold and silver. They were indeed beautiful. At last, she looked up at Cornelia and said, "Is it true, Cornelia, that you have no jewels? Is it true, as I have heard, that you are indeed very poor, and you cannot own jewels?" Just then, Tiberius and Caius came in from school. "No, I'm not poor," Cornelia answered, and she drew her two sons close to her by her side and said, "Here are my jewels. They are worth more than all of the expensive gems that you have shown me." Tiberius and Caius Gracchus grew to be great men in Rome. They stood for what they knew was right, and they tried to pass laws that would help the poor. Tiberius helped the common people to find places to live, comfortable homes for them to raise their families in. Gaius, on the other hand, helped poor people to buy enough food so they wouldn't have to go hungry. They both worked very hard to make Rome a better place to live in. And that is why the world still likes to hear the story about Cornelia's jewels. I hope you like that story. I wonder, do your parents think of you as their precious jewels? I bet they do. What are some of those precious things that are more valuable to you than money or jewels? Is it more fun to enjoy the things you have, or to be always looking at someone else's things? Well, that's our story for today. So God bless, and we will see you again next week. Bye from John, Super Ted, and Trousseau.